Anyone was able to understand what she said? Hare Krishna.
Chinmay Mataji, can you please repeat what you just said?
Just wait for a while. I will repeat the chapter.
Yes, yes.
Hari Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana.
Chapter name is Duryodhana begins his evil schemes. We completed that chapter. Now we start from chapter 5, the martial exhibition.
Chapter 5.
Hare Krishna, am I audible?
Yes, yes. So we should go to chapter 5, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
We completed chapter 4 also. Oh my god. The martial exhibition. Okay, interesting.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Everyone is able to see my screen.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So, how many of you are new here? कौन कौन आया पहली बार? मोनिका शर्मा माता जी पहली बार आई हैं. और कौन आया है? लक्ष्मी अति देशमुख पहली बार आई हैं. सिद्धाली माता जी पहली बार आई हैं. और कोई कौन कौन पहली बार आया है? तो हम आप सभी का स्वागत करते हैं हमारे सेल्फ एक्सलेंस प्रोग्राम में. सेल्फ एक्सलेंस है या एलओबी है? आई डोंट नो व्हिच प्रोग्राम इट इज.
दोनों
दोनों है. ओके, इट्स एलओबी. I don't know from which program you are coming, but you are welcome. तो पहली बार हमारे वो पंकज मिश्रा, आप अपने आप को म्यूट कर लें. हरे कृष्णा. ओके, तो हम जो लोग पहली बार आए उनको बता देते हैं कि व्हाट वी आर डूइंग हियर. सो वी आर रीडिंग महाभारत and we just read and discuss something. If there is some principle, if I know, I explain it. If I don't know, then I just read and try to understand Mahabharata. So if so that's what we are doing in these classes. Some of the classes, whenever I am taking class, I am just reading Mahabharata right now. Previously we did Ramayana, so now we are doing Mahabharata, and after that maybe we will take some other book. So yeah, that's what we are doing. It was just to give you understanding what we are doing. Okay. Uh, okay. So then we will start our Mahabharat today. So martial exhibition among Drona's pupils, Bhima and Duryodhana, deadly rivals, both became matchless in mace fighting. Yudhishthira was the greatest spearman and chariot fighter. Nakula and Sadhev were the best swordsmen, and Ashwatthama showed the greatest ability at mystical weapons. Arjuna, however, excelled everyone in all respects. He became an Atiratha, a warrior capable of fighting 60,000 other warriors simultaneously. Okay, so there are Atirathi, Rathi. I think there are different categories in which Atirathi can fight. Atirathi means who can fight with the 60,000 other warriors simultaneously. So he can fight with 60,000 warriors in one time. That's why he's Atirathi. So Arjuna excelled everyone in all respects. So they were good. Bhima and Duryodhana was good in mace fighting, Gada Yudh. Yudhishthira was the greatest spearman. So Bhala and chariot fighter. Nakula Sahadev were the best swordsmen. Ashwatthama showed the greatest ability at mystical weapons. He was having some mystical weapons. And Arjuna was having everything. Okay. So one day Drona decided to test his student's ability. He placed an artificial bird high in a tree. Calling together all the princes, he said to each of them, take your bows and aim for the bird's height. One day, one by one, I shall call you forward to shoot. So the first to be called was Yudhishthira. When he had placed an arrow on his bow and aimed, Drona said, O prince, tell me what you see. Yudhishthira replied that he saw his brothers, Drona himself, the tree, and the bird. Drona asked him again and again what he saw, and each time received the same reply. Drona then reproached him and told him to stand down without firing his arrow. You will not be able to hit the mark, he said with annoyance. So Duryodhana was the next to be called. When he was ready to fire, Drona asked him the same question. The prince replied, as Yudhishthira had replied, and again Drona told him to stand down. One by one, the princes were called, and each responded to Drona similarly and was not allowed to shoot at the bird. Finally, Arjuna was called when he was prepared to shoot and was standing with his bow drawn in a semicircle. Drona said, tell me what you see. Can you see myself, your brothers, and the tree? Arjuna replied, I see only the bird. I cannot see you, or my brothers, nor the tree. Drona was pleased. He waited a moment and asked, if you see the bird, then please describe it to me. Arjuna replied, I see only the bird. I cannot see you or my brother nor the tree. Okay. If you see the bird, then please. Okay, sorry. Okay. Arjuna responded, I see only the bird's head. I cannot see its body. Drona felt his hair stand on end with delight. He said, shoot. Arjuna released his arrow and it struck the wooden bird in the eye, sending it tumbling to the ground. With tears of joy, Drona embraced his disciple as Duryodhana, and his brothers looked on in anger. Sometime after that, Drona went with the princess to the Ganges to bath. As he entered the water, he was seized by a fierce crocodile. Although capable of freeing himself, Drona cried out, O princess, quickly kill this beast and rescue me. The princes were confounded with sorrow at seeing their teacher held by the crocodile. They froze in fear, all except Arjuna. He instantly fired 5 arrows, which struck the reptile under the water and cut it into pieces. Its mouth fell open and released Drona's leg. Drona came to the river bank and took Arjuna aside. He said to him, I wish to give you the greatest of weapons. Take from me the knowledge of the Brahmastra, the irresistible missile endowed with Brahma's power. This weapon should only be used against supernatural foes, for if released against others, it may destroy the very world. Drona then told Arjuna that no one would ever become superior to him with a bow. He was now invincible. Seeing that the princes had become experts in arms and warfare, Drona went to Dhritarashtra and said, O king, your sons have completed their education. With your permission, they may now display their proficiency. Let me therefore arrange an exhibition. Dhritarashtra thanked Drona for instructing the princess and said, I envy those who will be able to witness the prowess of my sons. I shall attend the display with Vidura, who will be my eyes. With his assistance, please make the preparations, O best of Brahmins. Drona and Vidura then went outside of the city and selected a large, flat piece of land. After sanctifying the spot with prayers and offering to the gods. Okay, so then Here everything was happening with a proper in a proper way. So they just choose the place and then they are sanctifying it. They are praying. They are offering uh, God. It's not like just like you start uh, doing things. So they were purifying the place. So Drona had skilled architects construct a great stadium. It had a vast central area and platform rising on all four sides. Wealthy merchants sponsored the installations of thousands of beautiful seats carved from wood and inlaid with ivory and pearls. Rows of golden thrones encrusted with coral and gems were built on the royal platform. Okay, this is interesting. That time also sponsorship was there, as now we are seeing in the cricket and other places, people are sponsoring, but here they are just giving some expensive things. Okay, the stadium sides reached up to the sky and were adorned with tall white flag staff bearing colored pennants that fluttered in the breeze. Okay. On an auspicious day determined by the royal astrologers, the citizens entered the stadium eager to see the princes display their power. So here you can see the difference. So nowadays, when they are deciding uh, that when to start the World Cup or when to start uh, any event, how they are considering it, like what they are doing. Anyone know that? Like how they are deciding the time, on what basis? Anyone can suggest any suggestion, any guess? Hare Krishna. You got my question? Hare Krishna.
Can you
Hare
repeat
Krishna,
the
bro.
question, please?
Suraj Prabhu. So you got my question?
Yes, bro. But can we guess? Is the guess correct? Like, if we is it okay if we can guess? Because I don't know the exact answer.
Yeah, even I don't know, bro. That's why I'm saying that. Whatever. So just yeah, question is दीप्ति माता जी, क्वेश्चन इज कि अभी जो लोग वर्ल्ड कप जैसे डिसाइड करते हैं, कोई भी इवेंट करने का हम डिसाइड करते हैं, ऑन व्हाट बेसिस दे आर डिसाइडिंग, लाइक डेट जो डिसाइड होती है, या किसी ने जैसे अभी वर्ल्ड कप कब
Mm,
स्टार्ट हुआ था, आई डोंट नो कब स्टार्ट हुआ,
mm,
आई थिंक फ्यू डेज बैक दे स्टार्टेड. What
15th, yeah.
what basis they decided this date?
Mm.
According to external circumstances. सही है. Anything else?
Hare
Suraj?
Krishna, bro.
Yes, bro.
So mostly what we see that, because right now I'm kind of doing some social media stuff at here in ISKCON. So they have their activity time or active time. Basically, when the people, they actually trigger them. They actually see their behavior, like when they're active on their social media and stuff. So then they start organizing or advertising these things. And when they have a gap or when it is possible, if you see most of the matches, they are kept on long weekends when people have holidays, or let's say there are many holidays, and then they can actually add one holiday and get a long weekend. So you
Hmm.
usually keep it like that. And what happens is then they become addictive to it. So whenever if they are keeping it, that's how it happened with cricket. Previously, no one used to attend it, but they started advertising this, and then they held IPL. So it was the most frequent thing which they were seeing. Then they become actually, what we can say is, addicted to it. Now they can't function without it. And that's the greatest addiction right now. If you see the cricket IPL, it's a festival practically, if you look at it. So this is one thing, like what I know. I don't know whether it's correct or not, but this is what the stats.
Mm. So yeah. Anyone else have anything else to say? It's a good point, Suraj, too, that yeah, people are reading this that they are finding it by data, doing a lot of analysis, and according to that they are deciding. And like it's external circumstances. Varun Prabhu is saying revenue opportunities. So whatever time they think, these people are launching their movies on Diwali and Holi and Eid, like as per their whenever they can get good money, launching their movies and releasing. So yeah, so they whatever they know, they are using that. It's a mechanical. I will say it's a mechanical process. So if you don't know any subtle processes, then they are using that intelligence to make it successful. The event should, they're trying their best, and then and make it successful. Their understanding is just to earn money or whatever, how to exploit people and get money, how to attract people. So they are using it. But we were having the science of astrology, so here you can see that they are using even astrology to make it successful, and to get to keep everything auspicious. So people are trying their best to find the right time, but they have whatever knowledge they have as per their knowledge, they are trying to do. I think it is better than just doing without thinking anything, right? It's better that whatever you know, you should use your knowledge to get a good date. But we were having a more subtle, more conscious, more sophisticated way of doing this, and that is astrology. By astrology, we can find out the auspicious time to do certain things, and people used to do that. And still, we are also following in maybe not directly astrologers, but at least we know certain days and dates and time during the day we are using to perform certain activities during, at least in marriages, and what else, in during the festivals we still follow, in India at least, not outside. So yeah, so we can see they were following all these things. Yes, Prabhu. Pankaj Prabhu have some question. Hare Krishna. Pankaj Pathak Prabhu, do you have some question?
No problem. No.
Okay, so I will read further. On an auspicious day determined by the royal astrologers, the citizens entered the stadium eager to see the princess display their power. So Bhishma and Vidura, leading Dhritarashtra by the arm, walked at the head of the procession. They were immediately followed by Drona and Kripa, along with other members of the royal party such as Bali- Bah- Bahalika, Somdatta, and other kings visited from the surrounding kingdoms. The royal ladies came out of the city dressed in dazzling robes and ornaments and accompanied by numerous maids in waiting, and the ladies ascended the royal platform like goddess ascending the holy Mount Meru. Okay. Crowds of citizens of all four castes thronged into the stadium and marveled at its beauty. Large sections were built of pure gold and were studded with priceless Veduria, Veduria gems. It was decorated with countless garlands of bright flowers and strings of pearls. The sound of people filling the stadium was like the surging ocean. Trumpets were blown and drum beaten, mixing with blast of thousands of conches. and excited talk of the people. When everyone was seated, Drona entered the arena with his son Ashwathama. He wore white robes and white garlands, and his body was with white smeared white with sandalwood paste. His hair and beard were also white. With his powerful son, he looked like the moon accompanied by Mars. Okay. The noise of crowd subsided as Drona entered. Drona then had a large number of Brahmins perform auspicious rites in the arena. The mantras echoed around the stadium. Expert musicians simultaneously played with their instruments, creating a sound that pleased and calmed the audience, who sat in expectation. The princes then entered the arena, headed by Yudhishthira, and striding like proud and mighty lions. They were clad in brilliant armors and equipped with every kind of weapon. Drona ordered them to show off their different skills. Beginning with Yudhishthira, the princes stepped forward one by one. They mounted swift horses, rode them expertly, wheeling about the arena and hitting both still and moving targets with arrows engraved with their respective names. Thousands of arrows sped in all directions, and some of the citizens ducked in fear. Others were fearless, their eyes wide with wonder. Sounds of excellent, well done resounded, resounded through the stadium. The prince's weaponry skills, horseback riding and chariot driving were breathtaking. After displaying all these skills, they pulled out their gleaming blue swords and rushed, shouting at one another. They thrust and parried adroitly, dodging each other's attacks. The people saw with delight the grace, speed, and strength of all the princes. Drona then had Bhima and Duryodhana step forward to display mace fighting. The two heroes glared at each other and bellowed like furious bulls. Holding aloft massive iron maces, they circled, each with his gaze fixed on the other. As Vidura described the scene to Dhritarashtra and Kunti to Gandhari, the two princes aimed terrific blows at each other. Their maces collided with thunderous crashes, sending showers of sparks into the air. The crowd became divided. Some supported Bhima while others supported Duryodhana. Shouts of "Behold the mighty Bhima" and "Just see the powerful Duryodhana" filled the stadium. Drona realized that the fighting was becoming too earnest, and he also saw that the people were becoming too excited. He told his son to step between the roaring rivals and stop them. Ashwathama obeyed his father and moving quickly forward and managed to separate the two princes. When Bhima and Duryodhana had stood down, still glaring at each other, Drona stepped into the middle of the arena. He stopped the musicians and spoke in a voice that sounded like thunder. Behold now Arjuna's ability. He is dearer to me than my own son. This son of Indra is incomparable at every kind of martial skill. As Drona spoke, Arjuna entered the arena, clad in golden armor with a larger golden quiver of arrows on his back. The lustrous prince appeared like a cloud reflecting the rays of the evening sun, illumined by a rainbow and flashes of lightning. The invincible prince walked with a gait of lion. As he glanced about the arena, he terrified all those upon whom his eyes fell. A cry of joy went up from the audience. People blew his conches and played musical instruments. This handsome youth is Kunti's third son, and he is the best of all virtuous men and the most powerful. Some people said he is the son of the mighty Indra and the best protector of the Kuru's race. Others added all kinds of praises were heard from the crowd, and hearing these, Kunti felt milk flow from her breast, along with her tears, drenched her bosom. Dhritarashtra asked Vidura why the people were shouting so joyously. When Vidura told him that it was because of Arjuna had appeared, Dhritarashtra said, "How blessed I am by Kunti's three sons. They were like three sacrificial fires, and Kunti is like the sacred fuel." But Dhritarashtra burned secretly within himself. Why had the people not cheered his own son in this way? Own sons in this way? Was not Duryodhana Arjuna's equal? If only he could see what was happening. Vidura described the scene to the blind king. Arjuna displayed one celestial weapon after another. With the Agniya weapon, he produced fire. With the Varuna weapon, he produced volumes of water. With the Vaivya weapon, he caused a great wind to blow. And with the Parjanya weapon, he created a huge downpour of rain. Arjuna created land with Bhoma weapon, and with the Parvatya weapon, he made a hill appear in the arena. And by invoking the Antardhana weapon, he made all those things disappear. As the citizens gasped, the princess displayed all kinds of mystical powers. One moment, he appeared as a tall as massive palm tree, and in the next, he became as small as a thumb. In an instant, he went from standing on his chariot to standing on the ground, a distance from his chariot. Drona had mechanical iron bow run swiftly across the arena, and Arjuna shot 5 arrows into its mouth as if they were one shaft. He shot 20 arrows into a hollow of cow's horn. Swinging on a rope around a pole. After showing his skill with a bow, Arjuna took out his sword and mace, demonstrating many dexterous moves with them both. The exhibition was almost over. The music had stopped, and the crowd's excitement had cooled. Suddenly, they heard at the stadium gate the sound of someone slapping his arms with great force and roaring like an enraged elephant. Obviously, some hugely powerful man had arrived. The people looked around for the source of the sounds. Are the mountains cracking asunder? Is the earth itself splitting apart? Others thought that some jealous god had come there wishing to display his might. So Drona jumped up and stood surrounded by the five Pandavas, resembling the moon surrounded by the bright stars. Duryodhana stood with his 100 brothers like Indra with the celestials. Everyone looked towards the gate, and coming towards them was a warrior who looked like a blazing sun. He had a brilliant coat of mail, which was natural part of his body, was adorned with earrings that shone like fire. The earth resounded with his steps, and he seemed like a moving hill. The crowd was motionless. They started as at the new arrival. Who was this? The handsome youth strode straight up to Drona. He bowed somewhat indifferently at his feet, then offered his respect to Kripa. Turning again to Drona, he spoke in a voice that could be heard in every part of the stadium. I am Karna. With your permission, O Brahman, I shall show skills equal to those of Arjuna. Indeed, I shall excel all the feats displayed by Kunti's son. Watch them and be amazed. The crowd stood up together as if lifted by some instrument. They roared and cheered. Arjuna felt abashed and angry. He clenched and unclenched his fists, which were covered with iguana skin finger protectors. His eyes seemed on fire as he glared at Karna. Drona nodded his assent and Karna moved to the center of the arena. At once he began to show his skills. He matched every feat Arjuna had displayed, and the crowd shouted their approval. When he had finished, Duryodhana bent over and warmly embraced him. Here was someone who could stand against the haughty Arjuna. The Pandava prince had been the center of attention for too long. Here was his equal. Duryodhana laughingly said to Karna, "You are welcome, O mighty hero. By good fortune you have come here today. Tell me, what can I do for you for your pleasure? I and the Kuru kingdom are at your command." So Duryodhana had seen Arjuna's anger. He smiled at the Pandavas as Karna replied, "By your words, I already considered my desire fulfilled. I only wish for your undying friendship. But I have one request. Please allow me to engage a single combat with Arjuna." Arjuna stiffened and grasped his bow. The minute he had seen the obviously arrogant Karna, he had felt an intense rivalry. Maybe he would get the chance to end it immediately. Duryodhana laughed. "Enjoy with me the good things of life, O hero," he replied. "Together we shall reside in happiness." Arjuna had heard enough. He interrupted Duryodhana in a thunderous voice. "O Krishna, the path belonging to the unwelcome intruder or the uninvited speaker shall now be yours." Karna smoldered like a glowing ember. "O Partha, this arena is not meant for you alone. It is open to all heroes, including those superior to you. Why do you argue with words alone? Those who are strong do not waste words. Speak with your arrows, and I shall sever your head before your guru's eyes." Arjuna turned to Drona, who nodded slightly, fixing his gaze on Karna. The Pandavas advanced for combat. Duryodhana embraced Karna, who went before Arjuna, his weapons at the ready. Suddenly, the sky was filled with heavy clouds and bright flashes of lightning. Indra's great rainbow appeared overhead. The clouds above Karna, however, disappeared, and the sun shone brightly, lighting up his form. Dhritarashtra's son stood behind Karna, while Drona, Kripa, and Bhishma stood behind Arjuna. Okay, so Karna was the son of sun. That's why there was no cloud upon him. And Arjuna was supported by his father, I think, Indra. So in the terrace, the crowd became divided. The royal ladies also could not choose between the two heroes. As they faced each other, Kunti was filled with horror and fainted. Vidura was surprised to see this and raised her gently, sprinkling her face with cool water. He asked her what was wrong, but Kunti said nothing. She sat holding her head. How could she tell anyone the secret she had kept hidden for so long? Seized by fear, she looked at the arena and, feeling helpless, prayed silently. So, as we know that Karna was the son of Kunti only. So, just as the two warriors were about to duel, Kripa, who knew all the rules of combat, stepped forward and asked, "The son of Pandu is the child of Kunti and descendant of the royal Kuru race. Let us hear from his opponent what is his lineage and race. Once he knows this, Partha may decide whether or not to fighting. Whether or not to fight." Kripa looked at Karna and duels were fought only among equals. Karna blushed and said nothing. It was clear that he was not from a royal line. Seeing his discomfiture, Duryodhana spoke out. Nobility does not depend only upon birth. Those who are heroes and leaders of soldiers may also claim nobility, even if not born in royal lines. But if Arjuna will dwell only with another king, then I shall immediately give Karna a kingdom. Without delay, Duryodhana arranged for a ceremony right there in the arena. He sent someone to fetch sanctified water and sprinkled it upon Karna's head. You shall become the king of Anga. The crowd cheered as Brahmins chanted the appropriate mantras and offered Karna rice, flowers, and holy water. Karna sat upon a golden seat and was fanned with yak tail whisks. He was deeply moved by Duryodhana's gesture of friendship and said in a choked voice, "What can I ever do to repay you, O king? I shall always be at your command." Duryodhana replied, "Your friendship alone is all that I desire." The two men embraced each other, and the citizens became even more excited. Then, just as the duel between the Karna and Arjuna seemed about to commence, another man suddenly ran into the arena. He was trembling with age and supported himself on a staff. Perspiring and with his cloth hanging loosely from his body, he moved quickly towards Karna. At once, Karna got down from his seat and placed his head, still wet from the coronation, at the man's feet. He stood up and said to the inquisitive Duryodhana, "This is my father, Adiratha." Adiratha had been present in the crowd and wanted to congratulate his son, his coronation. He was a charioteer and was instantly recognized as such by both his dress and his name. He embraced his son tightly and shed tears of happiness. Seeing all this, Bhima jeered, "O son of charioteer, you do not deserve death at Arjuna's hands. You had best take up the whip and guide a chariot. Indeed, you no more deserve the kingship of Anga than a dog deserves the sacrifice offering of ghee meant for the gods. Sacrificial offerings of ghee meant for the gods." Okay. Karna looks down and embarrassment. Duryodhana rose up in an anger from the midst of his brothers like an infuriated elephant rising out of lake full of lotuses. "O Bhima, you should not speak such words. How can someone like this be of inferior birth? A hero's first quality is his strength and prowess. We have all seen Karna's power today." Okay. So Duryodhana then named different gods and heroes whose birth had been unusual. Drona himself was said to be born from a pot, and Kripa from a piece of hat, and the great god Kartikeyan from a clump of reeds. Even the Pandavas' birth was mysterious. Can a deer bring forth a lion? Look at this man, his natural coat of armor and his marks of auspiciousness. I do not consider him to be a charioteer at all. Duryodhana gazed definitely at the Pandavas. If anyone dislikes my having crowned Karna, then let him step forward and bend his bow in combat. The crowd was roused by Duryodhana's heroic speech. They cheered and sat expectantly. Now there would surely be a great duel between two mighty heroes. But during Duryodhana's speech, the sun had set. The dispute would have to be settled another day. Duryodhana took Karna by the hand and led him out of the arena, which was now lit by countless lamps. The Pandavas also left along with Drona, Kripa, and Bhishma. Then the citizens returned to their homes, some of them named Arjuna and some Karna, while others pointed to Duryodhana as the victor of the day. Kunti thanked the Lord within herself. As she watched Karna leave the arena, her mind went back to the day of his birth. She had only wanted to test Durvasa boon. She had no idea the mantra would prove so powerful. Kunti remembered how she had been lying on her couch watching the brilliant sun rise over the Ganges. What if she could call the sun god to her? The mantra had come to mind, and almost at once the blazing Surya was standing before her. Kunti had been amazed and horrified when he told her that he could not leave without giving her a child. I am yet a maiden. She protested. What will everyone say? Surya smiled. By his power, she would conceive a son and still remain a maiden. And so it had happened. The god laughed. In due course, the boy was born. Kunti had marveled at the baby's natural golden armor and earrings, the same armor and earrings she had seen on Karna's as he marched into the arena. She recalled how the armor had shone in the morning sun as the boy floated away in his basket on the river. Kunti wept again as she recalled how she could not tell anyone she had given the birth and how, blinded by tears, she had pushed the baby out into the flowing river. Adirata must have found the basket and raised her son. Akarna strode off uh, with Duryodhana. Kunti led Gandhari back to the palace. Okay, I think we will read. We will not go for the next chapter. The Kauravas hatred grows. Any question or comments? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Anyone having any question or any comment? No? Then shall we stop here? हरे कृष्णा.
Yeah, Prabhu.
सबको सुनाई दे रहा है मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji.
वेदांत प्रभु is here. हरे कृष्णा वेदांत प्रभु, how are you?
Hare Krishna, Siddhanta Prabhu. Just to add to your point, I'm not familiar with the cricket, but I think there were some rains during that matches. So many matches were cancelled. So they will also benefit if they use the method here, like how this contest was organized. They used the astrologers to set the date, so
Yeah.
that the cricket board can also use it. So matches don't get cancelled again and again.
They're using weather forecast, which is not
But
working sometimes.
still, it is raining on the match day.
Yeah, this maybe if they will, yeah, they can follow astrology and they can follow so many other things also. If they will accept Vedic knowledge, I think it will be a different things altogether. It will not be even. I think there will be no need of cricket then. There will be some other kind of sports and things will happen if they will accept the Vedic knowledge. I will say. Right now, their intention, their everything is just to earn money, and I don't know what they are expecting. It's uh, it's not good actually. Um, Taking away people from the real things. This actually you are not. We are not able to judge the real strength of the person by these. I think by these games. That's another thing. That there's so many. It's this person is good or bad uh, or what kind of Like anyone can play cricket even if he's drinking and having some bad habits. We know so many players are having so many things. They are having so many bad habits, and still they are able to play and do things just fine, because there's no activity which can expose that. Uh, so if they accept Vedic knowledge, then they will also engage themselves in devotional service of Krishna, not in such time-wasting activities which is causing people to be more in anxiety or such things. Yeah, it is, but yeah, that will be happen. But even in devotional service, or even on a platform of material platform, if they will follow dharma, then things will be different. Although they can have entertainment, they can have other things. Like Prabhupada said, we can have a sports like swimming and wrestling. So with the spirit of sport, not with the spirit of like killing each other, but that we can have on a real strength, and things will be different. So that is just for Vaishnavas. For others also, they can do so many things. So uh, it's on a devotional platform. Obviously, it's different, but uh, on a material platform, still, if they will follow the Vedic principles, then things will be different. Yeah, they can save money, time by using Vedic methods. Mm.
Prabhu, I have one more question.
Yes, bro.
So, in there is like betting, or here also when the contest is going on between Karna and Arjun. So, if someone bets, see, I support Karna, I support Arjun. So, the means warriors, they are not involved in the betting. So, do they? So, similarly, if a cricketer is playing, he is playing honestly, but other people are betting on him or counting on him. So, does he get that karma? Means because it is not allowed, right? Gambling is not allowed.
Hmm.
So, means what is their involvement, or what reaction do they get?
I don't know if they will get any reaction or not for that. Obviously, every karma is having reactions, and if they are doing that for their pleasure, or for their respect, for their reputation, then obviously they will get karma also. Whatever they are creating, because of them, people are gambling. Like people, they are giving the opportunity, so obviously they will get reactions. But so there are karma and vikarma, right? So it's not vikarma, but it is karma. So obviously they will get a reaction. And yeah, for the people those are gambling, that is vikarma. So they will get negative reactions, I think. So it's very difficult to know what is the reaction of the karma. But yeah, definitely they will get karma. So once Adbudari Prabhu told me that, you know, I was talking with him, like Kshatriyas used to do this hunting and all. So then he said, yeah, they are allowed to do hunting. They can go and kill the animals for practicing weapons and all those things. But still, they will get reactions. So it's not like they are free of reactions, and they are ready to take that reactions for fulfilling their duties, and that's how this material world works. So for devotion, everything should be connected with Krishna. Then only it is a karma. Then it is then we are free. else everything will give the reaction if it is not for Krishna.
Uh, Akarma is abstaining from karma, or
Akarma means it is doing karma for Krishna, doing activities in devotional service or in devotion. Activities in devotion is actually karma, because we cannot stop karma doing the activities, right? Karma means doing the activities, right? So doing that, we cannot stop doing the activities. So uh, how you will then do the karma? So then doing the karma means like doing the activities in devotion, doing the activities for Krishna, doing the activities according to the will of Krishna. So then we will not get the reaction. That's how, that's what Prabhupada is teaching in the Bhagavad Gita and Krishna is teaching in Bhagavad Gita, as per my understanding. Anyone else like to comment on this?